This video is on the dog-headed people. I was asked where I got my information from, and here's a sample of how I put together stories from all that I read and hear. I'm starting with the dog-headed people called the cynocephalists, which might be a misinterpretation of the word Canaanite from the word canine. Cain did kill his brother and was given a mark by God so that he would not be killed by other people, so he does appear to be different. A dog is said to be man's best friend and a guardian. The word cynocephalus starts with the word sin, and it ends with the word phallus, which is the male sexual organ. There is ample proof that these dog-headed men actually existed, including the story of Saint Christopher, who was made a saint after he converted to Christianity, gave up cannibalism, and then was martyred by the church. Edgar Cayce talked about his work in a previous life as an Egyptian priest who built temples to help what were called the things, removing their fangs, scales, and feathers in Atlantis. He talked about how the Atlanteans treated these things as less than human. Next, I remember reading books in the 90s about the Syrians who ascended from dog and cat creatures into humans. Robert Morningsky wrote about his grandfather rescuing an alien from a crashed ship in the Southwest desert. As a thank you, this alien told the grandfather how the universe worked. Evolution started with simple life moving upwards, with one species becoming dominant, whether it was reptiles, dogs, cats, or monkeys. This could account for dog people and the reptilians we're always hearing about. Next, I read wespenner.com, who goes into the wars of the reptilians and Orion against the Wolfen people of Sirius. These Syrian people were so fierce that they would eat their enemy on the battlefield. Moving on, we have Nos Confondent and his flat earth dome continents with different types of higher life, with the reptilians and the Anunnaki as the invaders into our human world. Next is Gigi Young, who you can find on YouTube, who says angels from Venus came into our realm through a portal in the earth when Venus overlapped us, and what we would call angels came into our realm to teach us. This coincides with Shannon Dory's work, The Day of the Fish. There's actually 3 books, and they talk about the pneumo myth, which is the same story of higher beings coming in to teach us. The pneumo were androgynous aquatic beings who couldn't walk on land because their lower half was fish-like. They were carried around on litters by the people and were greatly loved and admired. I wonder if the practice of foot binding was because these gods had fins for feet and the people copied them, or at least with the females in China. It's interesting that the pneumo mythology talks about the 8 ancestors of mankind who shared their DNA with us. The pneumo had a strict protocol for breeding, but 2 male dominant ancestors fell in love and had a child. This child, the jackal, being born of 2 dominant males, had no connection to the earth or the other ancestors or humans, period. It's said that the jackal stole the pneumo ship and through lack of skill crashed it into the earth, killing most of the life. The pneumo had to spread sand over the earth to save it. We do have some unnatural deserts in Africa and the American Southwest, as if the land had been scorched. Here we have the Icarus myth of a son taking his father's sun chariot into the sky, but since the sun couldn't handle it, the sun burnt up the earth. Same story, and interestingly enough, there's no mother in the Icarus myth. These dog-headed creatures were larger than humans and were cannibals. Is this where we get the story of giants eating humans? Is this where the idea of werewolves who change into wolves under a full moon? Next is a video by Archivist on YouTube, which suggests that these dog-headed people might have been born from a laboratory as super soldiers, whereas today we're more interested in creating these type of soldiers with metal and technology. Were there animal-human experiments going on in Atlantis? And is this why God only saved Noah because his bloodline was pure? And let's not forget the story of Little Red Riding Hood and the talking wolf who was threatening to eat her, or the 3 little pigs and the wolf who kept blowing down their houses until they learned to build with brick. I'll end with the mythology of the Romans, where they were orphaned and suckled and raised by a she-wolf. Again, the Romans appeared to be the intruders into our realm, and I'm deducing this from their name, Roman, which could mean to roam. It's also an inversion of the Italian word for love, amor.